Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, you know who it is. Doing a quick review over here of I don't even know what I'm referencing over here, there's nothing over here. I'm going to be talking about the brand new Denzel Curry EP 13, this Florida rapper, new release over here. A lot of people asking me whether or not I'm digging this one, especially since I loved his Imperial album that dropped last year. I'm pretty sure that was last year. Yeah, that was a 2016 release, and that was a pretty aggressive one at that. Yep. So really enjoyed that album. Please listen to that record if you haven't already. It's like one of the most gritty and hard as nails rap albums you're going to hear of 2016. And it would certainly, prepare you for what you're going to hear on this new EP. Now, as far as the material that's presented here, I believe that Denzel teased toward this thing with demo versions of these tracks, or at least, as songs from this thing were being uploaded, they were labeled as demos or something. All I know is that listening to this EP, I'm a little bit more impressed with what I'm hearing here than what I was with some of those promotional tracks. And it's hard-hitting, it's gritty, a lot like Imperial, but there's something a little bit darker, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit noisier about it, especially from the instrumentals. Like some of the instrumentals here, especially Hate Government, for example, kind of distorted, really textured, very out there. I wouldn't call it industrial hip-hop, and, I would wince at anybody comparing this directly to Death Grips or anything like that, but it's definitely kind of following the trend, or at least on that wave of a lot of weird, out there, left field, very grimy, trap flavored hip hop that we're hearing mostly from SoundCloud right now. But the thing is, Denzel is kind of cut from that cloth. He kind of comes from that scene, so it's kind of not really that surprising to hear him moving in that direction. Though, the thing about these tracks, though they may all be hard-hitting, Bloodshed, great track. Hate Government, so hard-hitting, so grimy, wish it was longer, it's criminally short, but that's kind of the thing with these songs in general. A lot of them aren't very lengthy, a lot of them aren't very satisfying. I would say the most developed of the 5 tracks on this EP would be Equalizer with Ronnie J, and Zeltron 6 Billion, which has a fantastic little Ugly Mane feature on it. But still, not to take away from Hate Government, because that track has, an excellent little refrain on it that's very sticky. Just wish the track was longer. The weird kind of odd man out on the EP easily has to be the song Heartless, which when it originally hit me with Denzel performing these really weird, shouty sung vocals, I was like, oh man, there's something so energetic and passionate and insane about his vocal performance on this track. But then as the song kind of drew on, it grew a little old for me. I feel like maybe he needed to transition out of that and bring us into something else and then come back to it later, just to kind of keep the sound of that type of vocal he was bringing fresh. But still, I commend that track for really trying something different. Definitely hit me as whoa, this new, exciting, crazy thing that Denzel is trying to do with his voice. That, I've heard him do to a degree before, but he's really pushing it to 11 on this track. Overall, production solid. The songs on here that are more well-developed are solid as well. The lyrics and flows, vocal performances from Denzel, not disappointed by any shape or means. It just kind of seems like I'm listening to a bit of a taster here, a bit of an introduction. Could be some B-side or cutting room floor stuff that's teasing toward a direction that Denzel is pointing to in the future or something. Or it could be one of those one-off EPs that we never hear anything from ever again in terms of stuff of this sound, stuff of this nature. I would hope not. I do like kind of this uglier, more underground sound that Denzel is pulling together on this project. Although, in the future, it would be interesting to sort of hear him kind of balance that out a little bit with some sounds from kind of the other side of, of the sonic spectrum, stuff that isn't quite as dark or grimy. Hear a nice balance on whatever project he has coming out in the future. But so far, really impressed what he did on 13. But again, it just kind of feels like a taster, but it tastes good.